So hi everybody, I'm Dean Cooper, CEO and co-founder of Next Step Ready, and I'm absolutely thrilled to announce that Lumina Learning will be one of our core program sponsors. We chose Lumina Learning as our preferred psychometric profiling tool for many good reasons, and during that conversation we got into realizing that Lumina and Next Step Ready shared many core values, outlook on life and business. And so we're absolutely thrilled that Lumina have chosen to become one of our core sponsors. With that in mind, I'd love to introduce to you Dr. Stuart Desson, CEO of Lumina. Stuart, there must have been some really good reasons why you wanted to get just more involved with Next Step Ready and what we're up to.
Indeed there are, Dean. Like you say, there's a fantastic alignment in terms of our values, and at its core the opportunity to sponsor here gives us an opportunity to be closer to world-class elite athletes. So as well as supporting the program and supporting their development like right now, it also helps us offer something in terms of their growth as they become the leaders of the future. Could you tell me a little bit about what made Lumina, Lumina Spark, Lumina Learning such a good fit for you in terms of looking at a personality tool to help guide people through this transition?
We're using Lumina as the golden thread through the program. So at the beginning, we use the Lumina portrait to help them understand their underlying personas, the qualities and strengths that they have, and how to tap into areas that are perhaps untapped strengths right now. Our athletes don't fit into boxes. I mean, they're incredible individuals. You might feel as though they might be a certain type, being incredibly resilient as they are, very driven, very outcome focused. You might think that they fit into a certain box, but actually they're just as unique and incredible as everybody else. And so I think for us it was important that we had a tool that, I guess, not only allowed for that incredible diversity, but allowed us, I think, to work more constructively, more innovatively with our athletes through the program. And I think Lumina, because it doesn't put you in a box, it's not type-based, it's trait-based. So coming bottom up from those 24 qualities meant that you can sit on a continuum, whether that's outcome-driven or people-driven. You can sit somewhere along that and you can move along that continuum really easily. Whether it's extrovert or introvert, actually recognizing that you can be both and you can play to the strengths of both and not putting you in that box, I think was really important for us. The other great thing about this being effortlessly virtual, Stuart, is our program is delivered virtually. It's done through the app as well, which is great. So that's ideal for all of the athletes coming on the program, both able-bodied and para-athletes. None of them have to worry about traveling or getting on a packed train to come to a training venue. And being able to use the app means that everybody on our programs is able to see each other's mandalas, do some really interesting exercises, maybe even working with their own teams. So I'm thrilled that the app is so accessible.
And of course, the athletes afterwards, having personality in the palm of your hand, they can also connect with other athletes virtually, overlay their personalities, look at how they work together, how they could communicate, which is just brilliant too.
I'm also recognizing that a lot of athletes, as a lot of us in business, are working alone. We train alone. It may be some time before we get back into the meeting place with our colleagues. So, from your perspective, how do you think Lumina will help people that perhaps are a little bit more isolated?
I think there's also direct transferable skills here between being an elite athlete focused 100% on your own performance and then moving into the workplace. A large part of what we do, and indeed many roles, are also equally focused on high levels of discipline, high levels of outcome focus, and high levels of performance in your own role as well. So I think there's also interesting research to do here on how the individual athlete translates into roles that require really high levels of individual performance in businesses and organizations too.
The other area that we saw some real alignment, Stuart, was yes, we're looking to help athletes plan for life after sport, but we're also noticing the tremendous impact it has on their on-field performance as well. And I think what Lumina gives us is some really interesting data that we can also feed back not just to the athlete, but some of the sports bodies, some of the organizations that would be really interested to see, how being on the program actually impacts on-field performance?
Well, there's a couple of things here. Firstly, there's the impact of the Next Step Ready program itself, and quantifying and looking at how people change and respond to that to improve their performance. And there's also the broader possibility of the research across the whole cohort of athletes to look at, well, who are they underneath? How do they behave in different contexts? What do they do under pressure? How might they overdo it? And link that back to their performance on the field and get a much richer understanding of what really drives performance. Circling back, feeding that back to the individual athletes will be invaluable in terms of enhancing performance. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and thanks for the opportunity to help athletes think, what next?
Oh, you're very welcome, Stuart, and we're thrilled to have you on board. The sponsorship status is really important to us. We want to align ourselves with the right people, the right sponsors, the right organizations. And we absolutely saw a great fit in working with you guys, not just in terms of using Lumina, but your ethos and the company culture, which is around, it's about insight, it's about innovation, it's about keeping things simple, but ultimately having, a huge impact on a phenomenal audience. So we're thrilled to have you on board and really looking forward to working with you over the coming months and hopefully years ahead and making a real difference together.
Thank you.